Hey y'all, we're back to answer more of your questions, but right before we do that, I just wanted to announce very briefly that Season 2 is coming. The wait is basically over. We should be able to release Season 2 Episode 1 within a week or two. So thanks so much for hanging in there. I know it's been a really long ride, but we're very, very happy to still have you with us, and Season 2 is coming very, very soon. So let's answer some questions.
How long have you been doing improv and how did you get your start? So I started doing improv in college when I was 20 years old in a community college improv class.
I started doing improv in high school.
Fun fact, me, Sasha, and Michael all went to the same high school in San Mateo, California, where we did improv together.
On a team called Hit Squad, and that was like a fantastic introduction to improv.
I actually got into improv back in high school because of Mason. We went to the same high school, we were friends at the time, and I was watching his improv shows at lunch. Seeing how much fun they were having, I decided I wanted to give it a shot. So my senior year I tried out, got on team, and we had such an incredible high school team and an amazing coach.
Amazing teachers. Shout out to Lisa Rowland and Andy Soroyan. Much love from me to you.
I found that it helped me in so many different aspects of my life that I vowed to keep doing it.
My mom had been on me and was like, Brooke, yeah, you need to use your talents. You should do comedy, blah, blah, blah. And she's a lovely human, so sorry, Mom, you don't talk like that. I was so scared of it. And I don't want to be all cliche, but you should do the thing that scares you. And I did it. And I hated it at first, but then I soon fell in love with it. So good job, Mom.
Me, Michael, Mel, Matt, Lorcan, Hayden, Brooke, and Will all went to UC Santa Barbara together.
That's how most of us met, is at UC Santa Barbara. I really wanted to make new friends, and I did theater in high school, and so I just auditioned for the team, and I made it, which kind of just goes to show you don't need experience to do improv. You can still do it. It's a learned skill, and anyone can do it.
How did we form scriptnotfound? How did it get started? So we already knew each other from performing together in school or being friends around the time we were in college. And when some of us moved to LA, we just wanted to keep the fun going, wanted to keep doing shows and improv together. Now, Danny and me also went to UCSB together.
We did.
Danny was a big fan of our improv shows too, right?
Yeah, I was. That's why I had the idea of like maybe we should put this on YouTube.
When did I know Script-Not-Found had great chemistry together? I knew before we even started. They're just my very good friends. So when Mason and Danny approached us and asked if we wanted to do something like Script Not Found, it was like, oh yeah, of course.
So we did it. We gathered our beloved friends from improv and made a YouTube show out of it.
Lorcan here. This is take 2 because apparently you can't look at other things on your phone while filming. What's my favorite game? I like Experts Challenge a lot because it lends itself to a lot of fucking with each other and calling people out for small mistakes, which I like to do because I'm petty, I guess.
I really like doing long forms. Probably My Movie, I think. I love doing My Movie because it's kind of stupid, and that's what I like about it.
This long form called the super scene. It starts out as 3 separate unrelated scenes that all have the potential to be their own full-length long form. There are 3 rounds. At the end of each round, the audience gets to vote on the first round is their 2 favorite scenes, and the second round is their favorite scene, and then it finishes out.
Any improv tips? Yes. Be positive. As much as it's easy to get a cheap, quick laugh from the audience by saying something mean to someone in a scene, you're gonna find that it doesn't give you many directions to go from there, except for to be more mean to each other. And at a certain point, that's just not fun to watch. If you say something nice to someone, something affectionate to them, build them up, it only gives you 2 more options to keep exploring and go on some kind of adventure together. 2 people who hate each other don't do anything interesting. In real life, they just go separate ways.
Focus on getting out as much information as possible, as early as possible, even if it feels excessive. Another tip is try not to create conflict early. If you have conflict early, you tend to get bogged down in an argument, and nobody wants to watch people argue, and it puts a lot of pressure on you to keep saying funny things, you know, when you're just trying to spit out one-liner after one-liner as to keep this argument going. And if you are in an argument, don't be afraid to lose.
Just support your scene partners. I know it sounds fake, but I mean like put their offers like in like high priority and trust they'll do the same to you. So you get this truly collaborative environment. If you are taking truly what your scene partner is saying and listening, you're gonna get some ideas that you didn't think of before. They just make the scene that much richer.
Most of you who are doing improv, who'd want improv tips, probably know about yes and, right? It's about how when you hear your partner say something, you should say yes to the thing they just said and build upon it, right? You can yes and a lot more than just the things your partner's saying. You can yes and body language, the tone of what was said rather than the things that were said. You can yes and like where you think they might be going with this, like far down the road. It doesn't even have to be like true. Like you can yes and anything at all that you think you might have noticed.
Get your ego out of your performance. Drop down from your ego, which is saying things like, how can I prove that I'm funny? What do I need? It's also insecurities, like, oh, I'm not funny enough. Oh, people think I'm stupid. I'm fat or I'm annoying. When I drop down from my ego to my heart, I'm thinking things like, oh, I love doing this. I'm so grateful I get to do this. I'm thinking things like, oh, how can I make Mel laugh right now? How can I create a really amazing, funny scene with Matt instead of needing to like prove myself?
I feel like the moment I reached a breakthrough in my improv is when I kind of stopped caring about looking stupid. The second that I stopped thinking about what other people were gonna think of me on stage, I allowed myself to go to a place where I got to be really silly, and I think that's where some of my best stuff comes from.
Do you ever get pre-show nerves? Yes, every time I've gone on stage in about 10 years. How do you overcome it? I wouldn't say that you do. And in fact, I would just say stop looking at that nervous feeling that you get before you go on stage as a negative thing and start looking at it as a sign of how exciting it is that you get to do this really cool, special, crazy thing with your friends. And speaking of those people, turn to them. When you feel nervous, look another one of your teammates in the eye and tell them something encouraging or really focus on them when you're warming up for the show. And you're gonna find that together, you're gonna use that nervous energy to actually build a ton of excitement before you go on stage. The second you step on stage, that all melts away. You're in autopilot.
Honestly, just as soon as I found teams that were really supportive and had friends that I knew cared more about having a good time with each other as opposed to what the actual product was going to be from a quality perspective, I really stopped being nervous. Like with the scriptnotfound group, everyone is just so unintimidating. I just sort of try to do everything I can to pay attention to my surroundings, pay attention to my fellow teammates, to what they're doing, and that way you stay present and you're not focused on yourself and your imminent failure.
I remind myself why I'm doing this, which is not to confirm any insecurities I might have or prove myself, but that I'm doing this because I love it and I get to have fun.
Improv is like my favorite thing in the universe. Improv is like how I've met like my favorite people in the world. Throughout my whole life, it's been like one of the main ways I like stay connected to the people I care most about. And I'm so glad that you get to watch the show and experience the thing that all of us on the show share and care about together. And so it kind of feels like we can all be part of like a friendship that's very meaningful to me. I think that's all the time we have today.
Thank you for asking me these questions. They're very fun to answer. If you have any more, you can keep asking. See you guys. Bye.